All right, guys, what is going on tonight? I'm here, Ace is here to talk you off the ledge. Oh my God, the Panicans are out in full force. People be freaking out over what's going on in Minnesota. Trump did a couple things today that got a lot of people just like, oh my God, it's over. He's done. Panicans going nuts. People like, oh, this is it. He's caving in. Everybody coming out and using this as the opportunity. See, we told you Trump was weak. He's not getting anything done. It's over. Man. All right, we're gonna break it down tonight. So don't worry, folks. I'm here. I'm here to help. We're gonna be okay. It's going to be okay. So tonight, what we're going to do, we're going to walk through the latest in Minnesota, Minneapolis, what's going on with ICE, Border Patrol, you name it, the leftist protesters, all the craziness going on. So we're going to break it all down. Homan on his way. Oh, man, Minnesota's in trouble. At least the lefty politicians over there are. And then got kind of a fun one. The F you, Ted. Trump blasting Cruz. What a story we got there. This is going to end Ted Cruz's career with MAGA, and I'm here for it. You know what? It's okay. It's okay to let Teddy boy go. He won his last election. He's got 4 more years. He'll be a reliable vote in the Senate, and then we can say goodbye. Ted is not who he thinks or who he appears to be, who he puts out there, and we got the proof. It's all out there, and Trump doing what he does, making it right. And then a couple other things to cover, but you know, we'll do the scatter shot at the end of wins and interesting stories. But before we get started, folks, hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe, help the algorithm know that you guys actually enjoy my content. You enjoy being here. You're not wasting your time. You're not just here to do me a favor. So hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're new. We'd love to have you. This is a channel where my entire goal is to cut through the BS every day. That's why I show up, to look at everything, to analyze it, to research it with 20 plus years political experience, looking through this stuff, and then all my other experiences in life, just using it, my knowledge of Trump, and a lot of faith, I gotta say, that plays a big role into it. But I use it all to cut through, and you know what, guys? So far, so good since covering Trump. More right than wrong by far, and so that's what we're here for, right? That's what we're here for. So like, subscribe, repost if you're on X. I greatly appreciate that. And if you find out you love the show, well, you can always support the show by becoming a member. You can do it on YouTube if you like. Get members live shows, a couple other perks. But the real membership's on Patreon, where you can get a free month, get in the Discord 24/7, and support the channel and get free content there as well. That's members only. Okay. That is my spiel. Let's get to the chat, and then we are going to get into it. Uncle Andy, what's up, brother? He says, you got to talk me off the ledge. All the posts on X about Trump giving in got me worried. Don't worry, friend. He ain't giving in. We're going to get to it. Alan Akashanian, welcome, sir. Cass Sync, D6 is here. Couples Live, Mike Mishler, Frank Anastasio, Blue 5, what's going on? Toe Cramp, Scott Volkovich, Pat M, Big 5, Mark Har, what's going on, brother? AZ Tropic and Lockterfield over there on Rumble. What's going on, man? William Kiva Maki, Wago Waco. Who else is in here? Linda Talley, what's going on? Oh, man, what's up, buddy? And Lockup's here. Just Mike's in. And what is this? Oh, I love it, Mark. I love it. I love that. Good stuff. I do read the chat. I enjoy the chat. I try to engage with you guys as much as possible because that makes the show more fun, right? Having access to it. And so anyways, all right, guys, let's get into it. We're going to go right to the Minnesota story first because it's the one people are most freaking out about, most on edge about. From Donald J. Trump today. I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. The cleanup man the man with the plan, the border professional, Tom Homan, says he's not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom's tough, but fair, and will report directly to me. Interesting. Directly to Trump. So he's not sending him under DHS or even under ICE. He's sending Tom in as Trump's number one guy, which tells me a couple of things. Trump wants Tom going in on a mission, and this is Trump's way of saying you're going to be me there. So that's number one, and that means Trump's giving his full attention now to Minneapolis. Number two, it means that he might not be too pleased with Kristi Noem. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. There might be too many mistakes on the ground. And honestly, that should just make you feel better, because that should make you know that Trump is on top of it, and he's not getting out. He's digging in. But he says Tom's fair will report directly to me. Separately, a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus. Every time Trump throws these numbers out, they get bigger. He must know something. Kash Patel said they are getting deep on there. It just isn't out yet. Plus, welfare fraud taking place in Minnesota is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the streets. Interesting. Why would he say the fraud is partially responsible? Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, in quotes, Congresswoman, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He followed it up then with this not too long after. Governor Tim Walz called me. It's very important, always, remember, to look through Trump's words. He doesn't mince words, and he doesn't use words lightly. He doesn't waste his words. Everything has meaning with Trump, and a lot of people, like to, what's the word I'm looking for? Say Trump is a dummy, or he just blurts stuff out without thinking. But that's the exact opposite, especially when it's written. These are poured over, and every word matters. And he says, Walz called me, and it's right after Trump announced Homan going there. So that's the first thing you need to recognize, is that this is capitulation. He could have just said, Tim Walz and I just had a great conversation, but he made it clear that Walz called Trump. Okay, so that's the first thing that not enough people are talking about. It was a very good call. And we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. You know what that means to me? That means he says, hey, Timmy, I'm about to destroy you. You want all that stuff coming out about you? I have ways to force you into submission. And then they find an agreeableness. I told Governor Walz I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for, any of all criminals they have in their possession. The governor respectfully understood that. I'll be speaking in the near future. He was happy Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. Do you really think Tim Walz is happy Tom Homan's going there? Yeah. I have some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you if you believe that one. But why? Why is Trump saying this? Because he's saying Tim Walz is playing ball. We've had such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, and virtually every other place we have touched, quote unquote. And even in Minnesota, crime's way down. Governor Walz and I want to make it better. President Donald J. Trump. So what does this tell you? It tells you that Walz freaked out. And all of a sudden, Trump is now getting everything he wants. Now, there's a lot of freaking out going on online right now. These false reports that Bovino's being sent out. We're going to cover that in a moment. These false reports that Trump is now pulling ICE out. No, nothing could be farther from the truth. See, what just happened is Trump got Walz and Mayor Frey, that was another message, to give in on something. What? We don't know. This is the behind the scenes stuff. This is the kind of stuff that went on at Davos behind the scenes, where all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they have a Greenland deal on the way. This is the kind of stuff Trump does behind the scenes, and all he does is give us little messages. But you have to read between the lines. On the surface, it looks like we're ramping down. But do you guys know that ICE was about doubled up there? There were half the agents were there doing the routine deportations. The other half were there to protect those people from the protesters. They were a surge. That's also why Border Patrol was surged there. Do you know what Trump just did? He got Homan in, said, Homan, I'm putting you in charge directly under me, scared the Jesus out of Tim Walz, and got Tim Walz to capitulate. And now Tim Walz will be working and allowing ICE to move through. And on the surface, Trump gets to say, oh yeah, we pulled some of the guys out. And now the left has left with nothing. They're left with nothing to complain about. Tom Luongo breaks it down well as usual. Responding to this post right here, just a new YouGov poll that says U.S. Border Patrol surges to +3 approval rating despite the nonstop attacks. That's a YouGov poll, which is very leftist. So I would actually say it's probably closer to 0.7 to 0.12. +12, I should say, +7 to +12, somewhere in that way. So Americans are supporting Border Patrol. And Tom writes, so after the signal release, oh yeah, remember the signal release? We got that yesterday too. Huh. Interesting the timing here. All this exposure coming out, and all of a sudden, the Tim Walz is working with Trump, and everybody out there says Trump's the one backing down. How? Tell me the logic here, people. I don't get it. And everybody, like, I mean, I don't understand how many times are we going to do this? How many times does everybody have to realize, like, Trump is not a perfect man, but doing it, he knows what he's doing. Okay. He is not weak. He's not going to back down, but he is going to play the game when he has to. And sometimes you got to play that game. Trump knows so much more than we do. We are given snippets. We are lucky we get as many snippets as we do now, thanks to X, snippets of information. That's all we have. And all of us out there think we know exactly what should happen. We know exactly how it should look. And meanwhile, all that keeps happening is results. Sometimes we have to wait for those results a little longer than we expected. But look at the economy last year. Everybody freaking out over tariffs. And then 6 months later, 8 months later, you get all this amazing economic news start coming out, inflation way down. Everything they projected was a lie. GDP in third quarter, fourth quarter is projected to be over 5%. That's insane. That's everything they said the tariffs would do the opposite of. So these people know nothing. Everybody's predictions in the mainstream media or even in the influencer land tend to be wrong. And it's time to just trust the man. Can we just get there? Come on, Panicans. And I'm not talking to you guys watching, obviously. You guys are way too smart for that. That's why you're watching this show. But you guys know they're out there. I've already been getting messages from people that I love and respect who are freaking out, who are buying into the narrative. And why? Because it's overwhelming. It's all over X. It's in all the shows tonight. Even Tim Pool, God love him. I think Tim does a great job. Even he's blasting Trump for being weak. And I got to say, guys, this isn't, it's just not what's happening if you just take a minute to look it over. Here's more from Tom. He got Walz to comply with lawful orders and serve the warrants which need to be served. No more winging because the financial audits are coming. The lieutenant governor is now a criminal conspirator with organized obstruction of federal law. That's from the signal chats. Walz gets to throw her to the wolves. He gets to look reasonable, and the situation's resolved with a minimum of violence, disproving the entire Trump's a Nazi thing. Their attempted color revolution failed. And I got to say, guys, this is how I see it as well. All right. Tom Luongo and I are tracking right now a lot these days. And he's absolutely right. Now, you could say Trump planned this. I don't think he did. I don't think he planned for Americans to get shot. I really don't. But it doesn't matter if he planned for it. Do you understand? Trump holds the cards, just like he said to Zelensky. You have no cards. We have all the cards. That's what it's. And so what all that Trump does is it's like, okay, this card isn't working the best. I'm going to switch to the next one. And that's what he just did. He just pulled a little rope-a-dope. The left was getting a temporary boost from pushing that shooting. And so what did Trump did? He said, well, we can do this another way. I'm going to have Homan go in, and there's a signal. Not to be confused with Signal Chat yesterday. All the coming out of the organization of the protesters, Lieutenant Governor. So Trump, all this information comes out yesterday into X. We covered it yesterday afternoon. The Signal Chat, the organized protests, the truth about the shooter, and so much more. We covered it. What's going on? What's really going on in Minnesota? All this is coming out, and then today, this morning, Trump, I'm sending Homan. Tim Walz immediately calls him. Hey, heard you're sending Homan. You know, what if we just start giving you guys what you've been asking for? How would that work? What if we did that and then and Trump was like, well, how about if you do that, I can pull out the extra guards, you know? We'll make it look better. We'll de-escalate. Tim, I got to tell you, you got to give me all of it, Tim. You got to give me the criminals. You got to give me the voter rolls. We've been coming for it, Tim. You got to give me the fraud stuff. You got to do it. If you do that, Tim, I'll bring it down. The guys are still going to be there, Tim. Homan's still coming, Tim. But I tell you, I'll bring out the extras. I got to use them someplace extra anyways. So that's what's going on. This is how we keep winning, even amidst mistakes or unforeseen circumstances. Because he's built up an on-ramp. He's built up. He's got the right people in place. He knows exactly what's going on with all these leftists. He has so much blackmail now with all the... imagine what Trump has on Walz, Frey, this lieutenant governor. I mean, we have no clue with all the fraud that's been coming out. The reason that Trump's numbers keep going out, he knows more than they're letting in or letting out. Kash Patel's got this investigation going on. There's many people, and I think rightfully so, think this Nick Shirley kid was a plant by the Trump administration to leak out the information from their investigations. And you know what? That would make perfect sense. Because what happened once Nick Shirley's video came out and got millions and millions of views about these Somalians? Kash Patel said, we've been there since last June. Oh, really, Kash? You guys been there for the last 10 months? And now that we're getting some of this information from a 23-year-old kid who just decided to walk up to Somali daycare and expose this? Yeah. I mean... is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. This kid could have just done it organically. What's more likely, though? I don't know. You know, ask yourselves. But I'm telling you, there's way more going on behind the scenes there. And it's very important that ICE is not leaving. We're not pulling out. Just the extra that was only there to fight the protesters, keep the protesters off the backs of the actual ICE agents. That was all the extra ones were there for. And those will be surged down. But these are the kind of panicans we're gotten out there. So we have Jack quoting Carolyn Levitt from today saying Trump will withdraw Customs and Border Protection agents from supporting ICE if Walz agrees to cooperate. Well, again, the Customs Borders Protection agents, they were only there to protect them from the rioters. That's it. They weren't meant to be there to be carrying out the deportation agenda. That's ICE's job right now. But they sent in all these extras. But this guy, Sabatini, county commissioner, this guy, you know, he served for Trump for a while, says insane betrayal from the Trump White House. Democrats win again. Why does this administration cave to the left every time? Now, you have to be a special kind of stupid to actually believe Trump has caved to the left every single time. I can't think of I can't really think of any times he's ever caved to the left. Have they come out with some deals that were a little bit less than people thought? Yeah, sure. But unfortunately for the Trump is a weenie people, Trump's backs down people. These are the people who forget we actually live in a democratic republic. I mean, I'm sorry. Sometimes you have to do it this way. You have to make deals. That's why we have 3 branches of government, which is funny because they're the same people who would also say Trump's being too authoritarian. He can't act like this. This is a bad look. Like, it's never enough with these people. They're freaking out. And this is a great response I've caught right here. It says, I don't even understand how you can misconstrue this so badly. He's not removing ICE. He's removing Border Patrol and customs agents there to back up ICE. He didn't cave. Walz did. That's exactly right. Timmy's the one who caved. It's what we wanted. Some people try to find negative everything. This wasn't some kind of retreat. It was a goal. Doesn't that kind of sound like the Greenland deal? We're going to get it all. We want the whole thing. We need it. America needs it. We'll take it, whatever it takes. Will you use military enforcement? I'm not leaving anything off the table. Freaking out Europe. Europe sends their 5 troops over there to be like, look at us. We're defending this place. That's so ridiculous. Trump go, tariffs, boom. And then when it's all said and done, the deal, the framework, oh yeah, we get to use Greenland for whatever we want. We get access to the raw minerals, the rare earths, materials, but we don't have to take care of the people. You guys, Denmark, you can keep those people on your welfare system. Go for it. It's not going to cost us anything. Gets exactly what he wants. This is what he does all the time. Push to the extreme, pull back to what we wanted in the first place. Everywhere else Trump is right now. We're not hearing this in any other cities right now, even though Minnesota is less than 3% of the ICE operations going on in the U.S. right now. Texas is like 23%. This miniature 3% amount compared to everything else is drawing all this attention. And why? Because they're the one area publicly not doing what Trump has asked them to do. What Border Patrol and what ICE is asking for with cooperation in the local area. They're the ones who decided to make it a big fight. They ginned it all up. And this is genius because Trump didn't play their game. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. I'm ready for the Insurrection Act. I'm so ready for it. Yeah, I get it. Trust me. There's nothing more I'd love to see. My lizard brain, my emotions, my anger, my frustrations, I would love, and I, capital L, would love to see the Insurrection Act declared and the left just pummeled into the ground. And I don't mean literally. I don't want to see innocent people beat up. I just mean all of this nonsense stopped. Just in a quick, easy, intense way. That would hit my dopamine reactors. It just would. And I know it would for many, many people out there because we're tired of the way the left acts. We're tired of them putting on these shows. We're tired of them hurting law enforcement, getting in the way of brutalizing businesses, burning cities down, everything that happened during the BLM riots. We're tired of it. We're tired of them defending people who don't deserve to be here more than they defend American citizens. It's sickening. It's gross. We want it dealt with. So yeah, Insurrection Act sounds great sometimes, but Trump has to run a country. Trump has to do it legally. He has to do it the right way, because if he goes full authoritarian, well, even if he does that part legally and he does it at the wrong time, the people turn against him, and our country is designed to be led by the people ultimately. And so if the people turn against it, Now the next election comes, it's all for naught. And that's why you have to be smart. And that's why most of these people calling for everything, who are living in their emotions, who don't have all the information Trump has, it's a good thing they are not in charge of the country. I'll just put it that way. Because if they were, it'd be a whole big heap of trouble. Heap of trouble, man. I just watched Cool Runnings the other night. Here's Mayor Frey. You guys wondering if they actually capitulated. This is a guy who much more intensely fighting in public against Trump, against the administration, against ICE. This guy is the full-on owned by the Somalians. He's disgusting liberal, hard left trash. He is. He's one of the worst in America. And yet, after what down today, even this guy is admitting there's fraud.
So the fraud is real.
Mm-hmm.
The fraud that took place here is very real. And when you commit fraud, you get investigated, you get charged, you get prosecuted, you get arrested, and you go to jail. As an individual, you go to jail as an individual. The whole community, however, that you are part of and the whole city that you live in is not held responsible.
All right, so then he goes on to give some liberal nonsense about like why we don't go after the community, which it's true, right? Except for when the entire community is not legal. He leaves that part out. But the important part is this. We've been hearing nonstop for the last few weeks. Yeah, it's a fraud. It's just a Trump ploy to get in there. We don't have any proof on this. I was just watching Two-Way the other day, which is getting worse and worse because Mark Halperin just keeps bringing on these morons. But they were like, there's no evidence of this fraud. You know, it might be a little bit, but always trying to downplay it. Well, this guy is one of the worst offenders in all that. And now he's on a liberal podcast admitting the fraud is there and it's bad and people need to be arrested. That's a change in tone. And this is the kind of thing you got to look out for. Trump's tone's not changing. His mission hasn't changed. Pulling Border Patrol out isn't changing anything. Keeping ICE in is exactly what we started with the whole time. Now, the other great lie going around. Now, Nick Sorter is not a liar. He's an excellent reporter, excellent independent journalist. So somebody lied to him. Let me make this a little cleaner here. Some source was messing with Nick here. He says there's no longer a commander at large of the U.S. Border Patrol. Position's been eliminated. This is ridiculous. This came out 6 hours ago, this post. And look at this, guys. We need to accept the reality the Trump administration has failed. Here goes the Panicans. Bovino's approach was what they wanted. Trump's admin shouldn't be afraid of them. What is this real? Tell me it's not real. All the freakouts. Gunther. Why are they doing this? Panicking. Can we get some confirmation, please? Well, we did. Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant Secretary, Department of Homeland Security. Chief Gregory Bovino has not been relieved of his duties. He's a key part and a great American. And then it came out that Trump personally put out the call. Bovino is not to be terminated. So, again, guys, when you're going to freak out, and Andy, I'm talking you down from the ledge, I hope. When you're going to freak out, give it time. Always, there should be a rule. Everybody has, okay? Even Nick Sorter here, which he's a reporter. He's just doing his job. But when you're disappointed or worried or freaked out or shocked by something you see from the Trump administration, the rule should always be give it 48 hours minimum. I personally believe in giving it more like 2 weeks, but minimum 48 hours, because so much of what they do and say is, well, actually, sorry, I misspoke there. Not what they do and say. So much of what is reported about this administration turns out to be wrong. And there's a number of reasons for that. For one thing, the Trump administration, the true blue, the real patriots in the administration, they don't leak. And it drives the media bonkers. The media is used to having people in administrations that leak to them all the time. People who want to be liked and famous behind the scenes. Not this Trump administration. They are famous for not leaking. So that pisses off the press. So there's a few press outlets that will make up stuff. They'll take a rumor and run with it. And that's where you hear an anonymous source told me, whispers around Washington are, rumor is. You get to listen to their words, because when they don't give you a direct source, it's usually because they're either making it up or they have someone who's not in the inner circle but is just working in government, passing down something they want to spread. And the media in the old days, when they would report stuff, it would have an effect. It could actually change course on stuff, because the media used to be powerful, but no longer. And it drives the media bonkers. It should be noted that influencer sphere today, MAGAverse, left-wing-verse, neoconverse, neoconverse, that actually sounds kind of cool. They all have their little circles, and they're basically doing the exact thing that the mainstream media used to do. There's still independents like myself. There's some independents that are much, much, much bigger than me that I still consider trustworthy. But most of them now are part of their own networks, and they're not independent. They're getting stuff passed down, and they're trying to affect the narrative the same way the mainstream media used to be. It's just like everything. It always evolves. And that's where we're at now. The mainstream media has now evolved into podcast verse or influencer verse. And this is the same thing. Get these little stories, send them out there. Now, again, I'm not condemning Nick Sorter. He does great work. But the source he was hearing from, absolutely wrong. And so, Panicans, chillax. It's all going to be okay. Here's a good picture and idea of how this goes. I'm a 3-time Trump voter. I want a secure border, but these ICE operations have got out of control. It's time for us to stop. Ditto for the Panican. Oh no, Trump's capitulated. Trump is giving in to the left again. Taco Trump. This is what it really is. It's the automatons, the bot verse. Some of them aren't bots. Some of them are bought and paid for. That's a different kind of bot. But this is what it really is, guys. Over 50% of internet activity nowadays is bots, which is what you're looking at, bot farm. It is, and a lot of times it's the one guy with like the 7,000 phones up there, all pushing out a message, all these places. Same time, different accounts. Make it look like everybody's freaking out. You can't fall for it. 48-hour rule, guys. 48-hour rule. It's all going to be okay. Minnesota is working out. Now, here's a leak. Now, this guy's been pretty trustworthy, like Sotor. So, in fact, I believe they're friends. Wisconsin's next. You guys ready to see? Was it Madison, Wisconsin? Maybe Milwaukee, as Alice Cooper would say it in Wayne's World. Do you know Milwaukee was the Algonquin saying for, is this guy know how to party or what? It's one of my favorite scenes. But Wisconsin, what does that tell you? If this is true, it tells you that the Trump administration considers Minnesota a success, which is very, very different than how it's being reported, isn't it? Now, you're not on the ground. I'm not on the ground. We only get what's being shown to us online, what some good independent journalists are doing like Sortor and what other people are doing in the mainstream media, or, people with cameras. Let's just put it that way. That's all we're getting. We're not getting full context. We're not getting the full numbers. We're not seeing what's behind the scenes. But if they're already planning on moving on, by moving on, I don't mean everybody. It's not a complete pullout. We still got a lot going on there. But Pam Bondi went there last week. Kash Patel's there getting the fraud stuff picked up. Homan's going there now. The surge is over. The people are there. They have the fraud stuff being built up. We just got all this signal chat stuff released. Lieutenant Governor busted. They could just be ready to serve warrants, indictments, wrap all this up, and keep the deportations just going as normal. And that's a win. That's a win because now the left has nothing to fight over, nothing to gin up. It's important to frame all this stuff correctly, guys. It's important to look at it the right way. And Praying Medic reminds us, Trump has his finger on the pulse of MAGA. MAGA's itching to get in the fight, smack down the insurgents. Trump's telling them to chill, which is exactly what I've been saying about the Insurrection Act thing. Trump is the leader. So I get really tired of the nonstop, what's the word I'm looking for? The nonstop baiting to get Trump to do more than he's doing. The guy works more than all of us. Nobody can keep up with him. Even RFK Jr. says that. And he's like the health guy. Nobody can keep up with him. He goes and goes and goes. He's got his hand in a million different things at the same time. He's saving the world on the foreign policy scale. He's managing a lot going on here. He's trying to get bills passed through Congress by talking to these idiots in the Senate, in the House, trying to strong arm them into votes, whip them up. He's got a million things going on. Meanwhile, he's also got the best information in the world of anybody presented to him. And somehow we get arrogant enough to think that he doesn't know what he's doing. You know how crazy that sounds? We have no idea all the information that Trump has. What's going on with the cases being built? What's going on with the fraud they've been finding? What's going on with the tracking of money that, say, Bessent's been doing for RICO charges? What's Tulsi Gabbard got going on with all the information from Crossfire Hurricane and Arctic Frost, Russia hoax, the stolen election? What, there's so much. I know we all want it to happen like this, but guys, these things take time. These things take time to do it right. And we don't want to be like the left where they would just arrest people. And then as soon as somebody else came in or Supreme Court blocked it, or the Republicans or, somebody in the Congress blocked it, it was undone, which happened to a lot of the left's agenda. Look at how quickly the vast majority of Obama's administration was unraveled by Trump term one. And then what Trump set up in term one held back the Biden administration. And then what the Biden administration did pull off, Trump is already pretty much completely undone, except for the damage from the illegals. That's one of the lasting effects in the economy. The economy's already turning around. Most of Biden's policies are now no longer law or in effect. The climate change agenda is completely done. The foreign policy completely undone. A lot of it's because they were sloppy and rushed stuff or didn't codify it. Didn't even do it legally. Trump's doing everything the right way. It's slower, but it lasts. And that's what we want to see. Do we think Fed's going to drop rates this week on Wednesday? No, Powell will keep the rates even just to mess with Trump. This is an FU to Trump. Watch. Even though Truflation now has inflation under 1%, which means it absolutely should do it. Absolutely should lower it. Just drop it quick. Let it go. David says, I'm tired, boss. You're going to be okay, buddy. All right. We got to get to this story, this Ted Cruz story. This is a crazy story. So, Ted Cruz, in closed-door donor meetings last year, so right after Trump got in, recordings revealed deep rifts inside GOP over trade and foreign policy. Now, I have been saying, Ted Cruz, I love that he votes the right way but he is a conservative grifter. Cruz is a snake, and he's a snake from the right. He's the uniparty game, but he was their controlled opposition. Always be the conservative, always be hardcore, make it impossible for the Republicans to doubt you. And then when the guy who comes up who's actually getting it done shows up, we'll use you behind the scenes. Well, that behind the scenes is starting to leak out. 10 minutes of recordings provided by a Republican source made during donor sessions early and mid 2025, right around tariffs. In the recordings, Cruz repeatedly singled out J.D. Vance and Tucker, accusing them of driving anti-interventionist foreign policy. You mean they're not neocons, Teddy? Inside the Trump administration, Cruz claimed the two were responsible for pushing out former National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who supported military action against Iran. No, Mike Waltz got let go. He didn't actually get let go. He got moved to an ambassadorship, but he got pushed out as National Security Advisor because he invited the head of the Atlantic, Jeffrey Tucker, into the Signal chat and let that guy see top secret conversations between Hegseth, Vance, and many others, Waltz too. He let them into the Signal chat, and then they published that piece last year that tried to take Hegseth down. That's why Waltz got pushed out. Not because Iran, but oh man, this just tells you. It tells you these people are all actors. Tucker created JD. JD's Tucker's protege. They're one and the same, Cruz told donors. So Cruz is trying to get donors to not support MAGA. Trump, he can't be anti-Trump anymore. Trump just won the presidency for the second time. Trump's not winning anymore. No, we're going to try to take down J.D. Vance because J.D. Vance is MAGA's future. Ted Cruz trying to take down J.D. Vance from behind the scenes. Disgusting. Because those donors, they're going to be the ones funding money into the J.D. Vance campaign in 2028. And Ted Cruz is trying to take that away. Cruz said Vance and Carlson played a role in briefly installing Daniel Davis senior intelligence. Davis hostile to Israel. Second recording, Cruz recounted tense late-night phone call with Trump after the president rolled out his tariff plan. Cruz and several others tried to persuade Trump to back off the tariffs. Cruz, uniparty, one world trade, free trade. Let's keep letting them take from us. Let's keep hollowing out our middle class. Such a great conservative bastion there, Cruzy boy. Call stretched past midnight. Did not go well, Cruz said. Trump was yelling and cursing during the conversation. Trump was in a bad mood, Cruz told donors. I've been in conversations where he was happy. This was not one of them. Cruz warned Trump tariffs could wreck the economy and imperil GOP's political standing. Mr. President, if we get to November and people's 401ks are down 30%, how funny is this story? Now looking back, Cruz warning Trump that their 401ks would be down 30%. Instead, they're up 30% as of today. And prices are up 10 to 20% at the supermarket. Prices are down, and so is inflation. Ted Cruz, economic idiot. You're going to lose the House. You're going to lose the Senate. You're going to spend 2 years being impeached every single week. Now, does that sound like something the guy on your side's going to tell you about your agenda, threatening him with impeachment if you don't do what I say? Man, Ted Cruz is nasty. But thank God Trump is nastier. Trump's response, according to Cruz, was blunt. F you, Ted. I gotta tell you, I don't think it's hard to guess. This is my favorite story of the last few weeks just because of this part. No. Well, why do you think that, Ted? Ted, what do you think we could do differently, Ted? What if I just tweak this here, Ted? What do you think? I don't want to lose the House. I don't want to lose the Senate. You really think so, Ted? Oh, F you, Ted. What does this tell you? Trump has no respect for Ted Cruz. He doesn't take him seriously. He doesn't see him as an ally. He doesn't see him as smart. Nothing. No offer of peace. No fig leaf. No, like, hey, let's figure this out, Ted. We can work this out together. How tell me more, Ted. Let's figure this out. No, just F you. That makes me so happy. As Ted Cruz is so he's awful. He's behind the scenes. He's always been known as just a nasty person. He had his rise during the Obama years. He played the conservative Republican role very well. Like I said, he's always been a reliable vote on pretty conservative things. And God bless him for that. Thanks, Ted. Thanks for your time and service. But Ted was planning on running for president in 2028. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he was going to challenge J.D. Vance. He's already been making his plans, building up his campaign. Well, he just lost all of MAGA. And you can no longer win the Republican nomination without MAGA. Good luck. Bye, Ted. All of your hopes and dreams for the future are now gone. You done effed up. So F you, Ted. Goodbye. Zero Hedge is great here because they put some of the stats that have happened, or facts about the economy that have happened since the tariffs. According to Bureau of Economic Analysis, trade deficit shrank to $29 billion, marks smallest gap since June 2009, 17 years. Sharp 40% decline from September's deficit. Economy grew at 4.4%. When a donor brought up Liberation Day, Trump's branding for the tariff rules, Cruz mocked the phrase, told his staff that anyone using it will be terminated on the spot. That's not the language we use. What a nasty man Teddy is. Cruz told donors he'd been battling the White House to secure a trade agreement with India. When asked who inside the administration opposed such deals, Cruz pointed to economic advisor Peter Navarro, Vice President Vance, and sometimes Trump. See, he can't full go on against Trump because you tell these donors that they wasted their money getting Trump in, they're not going to be happy with you. So he's got to play the political game, but it's pretty clear Cruz hates Trump and Vance and their whole team. I mean, Navarro is one of Trump's main economic advisors. The tariffs are one big part of his ideas. So he hates them, man. Cruz cannot stand these people. Wonder why. I'm a conservative. I've always identified as a conservative first, even over being a Republican. And I got to the point where I don't even consider myself a Republican anymore. Now I consider myself conservative MAGA. And the Trump 2 terms have been the greatest advancement of conservative values in my lifetime, and probably in America since the early 1900s, late 1800s. The greatest advancement of conservative values, and it's just been like nonstop winning. I mean, we've had our speed bumps, but we just keep moving. And so if Ted Cruz, who is supposed to be Mr. Conservative, like, you know, he's the guy who's supposed to be even to the right of President Trump, because President Trump in many ways is pretty moderate, but especially economically, Cruz is supposed to be to the right of Trump on everything. And yet for Cruz to hate the Trump administration when it's done more to fulfill the conservative agenda than any other person in modern history, by far, you got to wonder who the true believers are. This tells me it's certainly not Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz only cares about his own career. He's a shyster. He's a charlatan. He's a grifter. He only will do what's best for Ted Cruz. And Ted Cruz built his following, built his career on being the staunch conservative, which is why he still plays that role. But this tells me that Cruz is just doing it for the votes. Because if you hate this administration with what they've pulled off, with this kind of vigor, terminating your staff on the spot for referring to terrorists as Liberation Day, that's a special kind of hate right there. It just tells me you're not the real deal, Teddy. And many of us have known this for a while, but this story is the most egregious example of it. It just puts him completely on the spot. Mike says, I think the Ted Cruz story is nothing but noise. Mike, you want to explain why you think that? Because I don't think this is noise. I think this is important, actually, because we need these stories to come out to expose the fake Republicans before the 28 election, because they are, and I've shown you guys this, the Bush wing of the Republican Party wants its power back. They want their party back. And they're going to do anything they can to stop Vance. Everybody who runs against Vance in the primaries are going to be Bush wing conservatives, Bush wing Republicans. And so this kind of story coming out, I guarantee you this was leaked by somebody close to Trump, because they were like, let's get it out there and ruin Ted before he gets moving. And so that's why I don't think it's noise. I think it's hilarious. This doesn't change anything for Trump. This doesn't hurt the news cycle at all. In fact, this looks good for Trump because everybody hates Ted Cruz, especially liberals. And so this doesn't hurt anything. But it's a fascinating story because Ted Cruz, the icon of the conservative movement, this will effectively end him. I would be shocked if after this, if he even wins his next Senate primary in Texas in 2030, in which at that time we'll have probably new election laws, reallocated. A lot of the new census will be done. There'll be reallocations of numbers for electoral numbers for House and elections. And so another conservative could easily come up, a MAGA conservative or true believer, and easily unseat him. And so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. David says MAGA isn't just right-leaning, it's conservatives and Democrats. Democratic Party of today are Marxists. Yes, absolutely. You're very, I would say the MAGA Party is really just Americans who love America and are traditionally, the MAGA Party today looks very similar to the Democratic Party of the 1960s with JFK. That's That's what MAGA looks like. So MAGA is not Democrat or Republican. It's its own thing. So I agree with you there. Tokram says he's only good for being a blowhard when people get called before Congress. That's very true. Yeah. Mike, you think it's another Elon moment? Oh, so you think it's kayfabe? See, don't get me wrong. Cruz is going to vote everything Trump wants. He will vote for every conservative thing. He will be a consistent vote. And Trump will be nice to Ted in person, in front of all of us. So that's not the point of this story, though. The point of this story is not to say there's a rift between Trump and Cruz. It's to expose just Cruz in general. That's the difference between the Elon Trump fight. That was not an exposure fight. Neither of them were exposed. It was more of a, what's happening? Why are these guys not getting along anymore? You know, what caused this? It's different because Elon's not a politician. Elon hasn't run against Trump in an election. Elon wasn't planning on running for president in 2028. So this is not like this. I don't agree that it's the same kind of noise, Mike. I actually think this one has teeth to it. It's real. Trump and Cruz will play nice. And Cruz, if Vance wins in 28, will even play nice there because he has to. It's his only way to survive as a senator with MAGA now running the Republican Party. But I'm telling you, this ends his chance to become president. And it's great. We want this stuff out there. We do. We want to see it all. Okay, Mike. So I think we're agreeing. Cruz spokesperson downplayed the recordings, insisting Cruz is the president's greatest ally in the Senate and battles every day in the trenches to advance his agenda. That's the statement right there. So we actually have the recordings of Cruz talking so much smack on the Trump administration. And now that it's out there, the spokesperson has to say, nope, play the role, Cruz, play the role. He's the president's greatest ally. That's them trying to cover themselves so that he can still run in 2028. These battles include fights over staffers trying to enter the administration despite disagreeing with the president, seeking to undermine his foreign policy. Statement continued. Senator Cruz is proud of those fights, his accomplishments, his close relationship with the president. These attempts at sowing division are pathetic and getting boring. There's not going to be any division from this. Not going to be any division from this at all. Cruz will still completely vote the Trump's tickets, Trump's agenda. Trump will continue to be nice to Ted in public, but the important part is behind the scenes. We all know, and the normies now know, that Cruz cannot be trusted, and that's important for 2028. So, anyways, what a story! What a story! If nothing else, this just wins the day. Trump's response, according to Cruz, was blunt. F you, Ted. I'm never going to get over it. It's so funny. These are the stories that just make me love Trump more and more. And it tells me he is exactly who we think he is, what we love about him, and what we want him to be. And that's another thing. And I guarantee you that 90% of people who saw this today thought it was hilarious and loved it. So that's I'm telling you right now, this is great. This is a great story for Trump. It really is. It makes him look just like we all want him to be. So hopefully we're both right. I agree, Mike. Okay, a couple other things tonight before I head out of here. This is what I've been talking about, okay, for the economy. Look at the boosts people are going to get. Average refunds the last couple years, jumping up by $750 average refund. Guys, that's a miniature stimulus check. Just saying. That's awesome. And it's going to go right into the economy. Excuse me. No printed money for this. This is money people already paid in, or their tax credits are already factored in. Going right to the economy, into people's pockets. Millions and millions of people getting $700 or more back than they did the year before. That's huge. That's going to cause a huge feeling of elation towards Trump. Oh my God. Because that's a big number. That's what, almost 20%? It's more than 20%. How much is that? That's about 23% more than last year. That's a massive jump for people. They're going to see that check and their jaws are going to drop. 23% more in a year on your tax return. Many, many people who aren't doing well, are barely making it, their tax return is a huge deal to them. They get that money and they finally can buy something they've been waiting for, maybe get their car fixed, maybe pay off a little debt, maybe put something in savings. I mean, this is a big deal. I know I used to be one of those people. Tax season was awesome. I was like, oh my God, finally, we're going to have a little cushion in the bank account for the first time all year. And it was every year, it just get to the end of the year. We're struggling again. It's like, oh man, it's tight. Tax season comes along. We get to breathe a little bit. That's what it's like when you're lower middle class American or poor American. Tax season is a big deal. This is going to be huge for Trump. It's going to be huge for the Republicans, the midterms, and the economy. So 20%, guys, 20% more money. And after now the year goes by, the adjustments are going to make their paychecks. So people are going to be getting more take-home pay every week. So it's stimulus through cuts. It's going to be awesome. And so we're finally getting the numbers on this. So I wanted to show you guys just what a big deal it is. And and remember, we still got that tariff money out there that Trump is now saying he might bypass Congress and give us rebate checks from that, which would be another stimulus that's inflation free because it's not printing money. On top of that, the compounding effect of the tax cuts in corporations. So they're investing more money. This will be the first year that the corporations are coming in, making their new budgets for the year, knowing these tax cuts are there, knowing they're going to have more capital freed up. That's more investment in the economy. Deregulation, more investment in the economy. Boom, baby. This summer, this fall, it's going to start getting fun. So we just got to ride probably a market bump, and then it's off to the races. And then Anna Paulina Luna has got a plan to force the SAVE Act. Now, it's looking like we're about to have another government shutdown because the Democrats are morons. They're going to fight a shutdown battle over defunding DHS when ICE is already funded for through the end of Trump's term, no matter what they do. It's already done. It's already law. And there's no way the Republicans will repeal that. But the Republicans want to add an extra $10 billion to ICE for more deportations. All in favor, say aye. Aye. They want to fight that battle. And so they're going to shut down the government again in about 10 days. Well, if they shut it down, the Republicans are finally coming in with a plan this time. We might get the SAVE Act passed and forced up, which would force Congress to do that. If more pressure builds on the Senate, especially because of a shutdown and because of the House actually pushing them, we might, I'm saying it's a small chance, but it's still there. We might see Republicans finally nuke the filibuster. And that would be the single greatest gift they could ever give Trump. Because all of a sudden they nuke the filibuster, it's off to the races, baby. because then Congress has no excuse anymore to not codify his agenda. We will see laws passed like crazy, Trump's agenda codified, and the Democrats will be completely screwed. Completely screwed. The Republicans are so stupid or corrupt or both. I think it's both. Especially in the Senate, where the uniparty still is the main driver. Because nuking the filibuster could, if they were purely looking out for the American people, if they really cared about all the things they ran on, what we voted on to get them up there, if the Republicans truly cared about any of it, the filibuster would be gone 10 months ago. The only reason for the filibuster, the only excuse still for the filibuster, they say it's about tradition. They say they don't want to mess up laws or do something unconstitutional. No, the truth is they do not want Trump to win. The Republicans want to somehow hold power because they don't want to lose their seats. No Republicans want to lose their seats. They want to be able to hold power and still not pass Trump's agenda. And the filibuster gives them that excuse. But they're running out of ways to keep it going here fast. And if the shutdown happens, it's going to be really tough for them to make the argument. Because this time, the Democrats, see the healthcare battle, it lasted, that was the longest shutdown in American history. And the Democrats got nothing out of it. They didn't budge, they didn't move the needle at all. And the healthcare thing ended up being kind of a nothing burger. It's just like it went away. Well, ICE is in the news all the time now, and the Democrats can always ramp that up anytime they want. The media is happy to give them what they want. Anytime they want to make ICE look bad, they want to bring it back in the public opinion, they want to get people upset, revved up. They can do that anytime with the deportations going on. So if they fight this DHS battle, the Democrats aren't going to be able to give in on it. Their base won't allow them. We could be headed for the next longest shutdown of all time, unless, because the Democrats are going to have their heels dug in, unless the Republicans nuke the filibuster. And if they're smart, they will. Or if they actually care at all about saving themselves, they will. We'll see. We'll see. But we have to keep the pressure on to get them to do it. Mike says, the way you feel about Cruz is the way you feel about DeSantis. Oh, yeah. I mean, DeSantis he's interesting. He's a snake. But, DeSantis is interesting. DeSantis, the one thing that's different between DeSantis and Cruz is DeSantis is actually a doer. And he's actually promoting a lot of stuff. Now, I do think he was bought off. I mean, we have the Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell story of them coming to him and getting him convinced to run for president against Trump and say that he was going to win. So he's shown that he's opportunistic and for sale. That's not a good thing. But he's also shown that when he's left to his own devices, he can get a lot of good stuff done. Now, I don't fully trust him, and I never will. But I don't know. I think Cruz is worse than DeSantis, but that might not be saying much. Little Squire, people are getting upset because they didn't read the fine print, thought all overtime was free, and didn't realize there are caps. Well, yeah, but it's a pretty good cap. I mean, $25,000 a year. On overtime, that's enough for most people who work overtime to get their full overtime deducted. But that's, but you're right. There is a cap on it. Anyways, it's politics. They weren't going to get the full overtime deducted. They just weren't going to be able to. They didn't have the votes for it. Maybe when it comes back around, which it will in 2028, actually in 2029, it'll come back around under the J.D. Vance presidency. And maybe by then we'll have a Senate MAGA enough and courageous enough to lock it in at a bigger level. So we'll see. Anyways, guys, we're going to call it a night. If you like this show, if you enjoyed it, if you learned something, or if you got your spirits lifted, or if you just laughed because you thought I said some stupid stuff, hit that like button. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. Follow if you're on X. Repost if you're on X. Share this with anybody who's blackpilling. If you want to support the channel, the link's down below, bro. Just hit that link. Get free access to the Discord and member stuff. And I appreciate you. So on that note, we need to pray because prayer is working. It keeps working. And this nation needs it. The Trump administration needs it. And we're going to keep winning. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for today, Lord. God bless everybody watching this tonight. And I thank you for them, Lord. I thank you for their support. And I just thank you for their willingness to keep learning and growing to hopefully have a good impact on their lives in America. And Lord, we pray for protection over the president, protection, wisdom, and boldness, God, to continue to go into that administration and to the man. And Lord, peace and prosperity, we pray over our country. And we ask for justice. I pray that more and more corruption is exposed and people are forced to move on it. Things get done. I pray that Republicans would be forced, God, to make bigger moves in the Senate and the House moving forward. That, God, you would just let the people push them, Lord, to actually start getting more done. So the Trump administration, God, going into the midterms, we can actually get the win we need for this country. And God, and everything else, we just thank you for all you've done so far. We thank you for the miracle of getting our country back on track that is happening as we speak. It didn't seem possible, and yet it's happening. So thank you, God, for that. Thank you for saving our nation. And we just pray that it's all seen all the way through to get done. Bless everybody here in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. Love y'all. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. God bless. Take care. F you, Ted.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is, and I bring